Welcome to Hello Hot Springs, the weekly television show that brings you everything about hot springs, past, present, and future. Hey, and we are live at Hello Hot Springs. My name's John Cooksey.
I'm Lydia Vidonagay.
And welcome to our show. We've had a busy week, haven't we? I think we've done something every week.
I 4th of July'd like 4 times over this last week.
Well, we had the, what did we do? We did Art Gallery Walk.
Art Gallery Walk was on Friday. Thursday night, did we see each other? Was that the night at Oaklawn?
Yeah.
When
Oaklawn
ambushed you.
Yeah.
Or maybe that was Wednesday.
I don't even remember.
I don't know.
Oaklawn Art Gallery Walk, and then on the 4th of July, I covered the
Red,
picnic.
White, and You.
Yeah. And then these were all on Hot Springs Broadcast Network. We had David's Burgers. That has like 35,000 views on
People are
Facebook.
so excited about David's Burgers. I've never been there, but my mom, who is one of the cheapest consumers on the planet and a really good cook and food critic, loved it.
Loved it. And
Said that it was fantastic.
Well, it's got all these good reviews. And then the last thing we did was just yesterday, the distillery, and they're having the Boots.
Fun.
The Boots Bash, Boots and Gowns Bash for the Faces Foundation. So all those videos for the last 5 days. And now we're on day number 6 here in a row. And we got a great show tonight because we have, we're going to be talking about a secret government program that took place in Hot Springs.
Yes.
We're going to be talking a little bit about a production I'm doing for the Vault restaurant.
Ooh.
And we're going to have Johan from Peter's Paints.
He's a
Peter's
really
Flooring.
swell guy.
He's a great guy. And we want to say hi to Mama Clem,
know him?
Mama Clem out there. That is one of our best dedicated viewers out there. We got Dennis, who's going to talk about Hot Springs Village and what's going on there. We're going to play a little promo from Maxwell Blades.
I'm excited.
Yeah, lots of good stuff. So the first person I'd like to introduce is Garrett. And if we can get our cameraman over to cover Garrett with this one over here. Let's give a big round of applause for Garrett Swavel.
Thank you.
Let's get the cut on. There he goes. There, Garrett, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's good to be here.
So we want to ask you a question now. Garrett has moved here from, where were you before?
So I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and actually moved from Knoxville, Tennessee.
And you
Oh,
could have,
nice.
your area as a technology specialist for FCA car dealerships goes, hundreds of miles. So you chose Hot Springs. So we want to find out, and Lydia can ask questions. Why did you choose Hot Springs?
Well, first off, FCA stands for?
Fiat Chrysler Automobiles, which
Love
is
little Fiats.
Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. We also have Alfa Romeo and Maserati as well.
Wow.
Yes.
And tell us exactly what you do, because we were just talking, and I said, oh, that's so great. So you sell cars, and you go, no, I don't.
No.
I do.
Yes. So what I do primarily is I go up to Auburn Hills, Michigan, once a quarter, and I learn about the new vehicles.
Say quarter again really fast.
Quarter.
Okay,
yeah.
very Louisiana.
Yeah. Very
I love
Louisiana. So I go up there once a quarter, and we learn from the technicians, the designers, about how the vehicles are made, what's special and new about them. And right now I'm out talking about the new Jeep Gladiator, which people have been waiting since 1985
Oh my
for
goodness. Really?
a Jeep truck to come back out. So the Jeep truck is out, and I've been at Riser, Chrysler Dodge Jeep
Okay.
this morning. So it's a lot of fun.
So it's in Hot Springs right now.
It is
for
in
sale.
Hot Springs right now.
How much
There's
does it
two of
cost?
them over there. So they range from the 30s up to entry 60, but it is one
Wow.
heck of a truck. I'd love to have one.
And you learn the technology, and then you teach dealers in Oklahoma and Texas and Hot Springs, and all of Arkansas how to use all the crazy new stuff.
Yes, so primarily I'm between Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Tennessee, and I absolutely love it. But sometimes, yes, we do team teaches down in Dallas or Houston, New Orleans, places like that. So
Very cool.
it's a
Why
lot of fun.
did you choose Hot Springs out of all the places you could have lived within 250 miles?
Okay, so it's a great question. There's a lot of great places in Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Tennessee, but one thing I found to be true is every time as I was getting familiar with my territory, I would come to Hot Springs and see something new here. I actually learned about the Hot Springs Broadcast Network from a hotel room. So
The best, yeah.
learned about this city a little bit, and one thing I loved about it is it had the diversity of the lakes, the mountains, and then not only one of our badge of honor areas, which is the off-road park here, which celebrates if you've made it through a trail, you get a badge to put on the side of your Jeep. So the off-road park here is something that tourists from everywhere come to see.
The Northwood Trails?
So Northwood is for the bikes, but it's actually right by Magic Springs.
Don't
where
give the Jeep people any ideas.
Yeah.
I was about to say, so
yeah.
you get a Jeep. I thought you biked it and then you got a sticker for your Jeep, but no, you take the Jeep on a trail.
Taking the Jeeps on trails,
Wow.
and they have tons of acreage and beautiful trails ranging from mild to wild. So I've been on some of those trails, and this is just a great place. It's also got a lot of history here. So I fell in love with a historic home built in 1885.
No way.
And anyways,
That's great.
And you just got engaged.
Yes, I did.
Congratulations.
A reception. We won't say the date because we don't want people showing up.
Yes.
But at the Mid-America Science Museum.
Oh, that's such a
Science
fantastic
Museum.
venue.
Yes,
That's
yes.
super.
So how do you like it now that you've been here 2 years?
It's absolutely the best city in Arkansas. It's a hidden gem.
Yeah. And
We
why
think so.
why would you say that?
Well, I believe that, again, the tourists make it fun all the time. You can go downtown and just have a really good vibe from all the people that are smiling and really just taking in the family atmosphere that you don't get in many towns. So between the history of what's here, what's been in the past, and then what's to come.
What's happening, what's going on.
That's just exciting.
We did not have enough time to do it, but Garrett's mom got your garden club from Louisiana to come on a bus, all 75 of them, and unload on a bus and see his property because it has a tree on it that's very unique in Hot Springs. Tell about the tree.
So it's a champion
Can I ask
tree.
what street you're on? Are you on in the historic district?
So it's on the National Historic Registry and the Arkansas Registry. The home
amazing.
itself, it was the Harmon Kramer house.
Okay.
And Mrs. Counts actually used to live there as well. But the home, again, was built in 1885. And in the yard, there's a champion tree. It's a cedar of Lebanon. And it's dated about as old as the house. And recently we had the Louisiana Garden Club come in and kind of check out the house
and
and
we
the
got
tree.
footage of that that we'll show on another thing.
Good.
That was fun.
So well, we're glad you're here in town and you've become part of this whole community and you love it and you're spreading the word. So thanks for being here today. And
thank you.
If you have any questions about Jeeps, email me. We'll filter it and forward it to you.
You got it.
You are the expert. It's great to have an expert on this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for the time. Thank you.
And we'll be back in a minute. What we got going on next is I want to show you a clip that we're in the middle of a 10-minute video I'm doing for the Vault. And Randy, the general manager over there, was talking about customer service. And I was editing it today and I thought, you know, this is just a small piece of a bigger video. And it's not even finished yet, but it really speaks volumes about what customer service should be in one place in town that's doing it right. So here's a clip from the Vault Restaurant, a work in progress for about a minute with Randy at the Vault talking about customer service at their restaurant.
Customer service is everything. For me, it's the impetus of what drives the business. It really is about family and communion and relationships. You know, I have a meeting with my staff every day before we open the doors. And one of the last things I mention to everyone is remember everyone's journey when they walk through the door, just like you're walking in the door with the experiences you've carried through your day. Remember, you've got people walking through the door celebrating birthdays. You've got people celebrating anniversaries. You have people who are having just because nights. They've got babysitters for the first time in a year. You know, you have people here mourning. You have people here having reuniting after 20 years, 25 years, 30 years. It's about remembering all of those special journeys, being sensitive to what people are feeling, what it is that each individual is going through the course of their night. And I mean that. For me, it's useless, and it doesn't matter what it is you're doing from a culinary standpoint, if you can't be sensitive to what your guests are needing or experiencing from the moment they walk through the door to the minute they leave.
Hey, and we're back. I want to also say if anybody wants to call into the show, well, we have a phone here at 501-318 501-318-4117 is the show number. So I was using the wrong number.
Flashing at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, we can always.
We could always do that.
Yeah, and so our next guest here, you want to introduce him?
I do. This is my husband, Johan Vidonagay.
Hello, guys.
And honey, what are you here to talk to us about tonight?
Well, it's funny. I've been on the show a couple times, talking about different things that Peters Paint and Flooring has done to beautify this community. And
Right.
and Garrett, I'm glad to hear about that house you're doing, man. We're doing the same thing in the historic district.
The mic's on upside down. I'm going to fix it.
okay, go for it, baby.
Keep talking.
And we've done a lot of cool videos with the bathtub racer and everything.
Yeah.
But today I'm here to talk about kind of a forgotten part of your house. Still very important. We talk about coatings for your deck, your patio, and also window treatments. You can have some awesome window treatments, very low cost, installed professionally, and cut that glare from the lake. Make
Especially
sure
in
that
the
you have
hot
some
sun.
privacy when you have all those boaters out. You're like, realize your lake home is like on display to
Exposed.
everybody. I had that today. She's like, I can't go in my kitchen at night. And I was like, what do you mean? Beautiful home, and guess what? We need some window
So
treatments
these
there.
window treatments cut out a lot of the light
Yeah, I can make it completely blackout all the way
Wow.
to 90%
and prevent
opacity.
the boaters from staring in on you.
Yeah, definitely. There's
Well,
a
or
dual
like
roller
we
shades.
live in
Right
a
there.
very walkable part of town where we have 2 huge front windows
Right.
that
I helped out a famous landmark, do their things for their window treatments in downtown, and you can say, "Hey, Google, I'd like to watch a movie," and your window treatments come down.
No kidding.
I
so
mean,
you can get really
attach
smart
those-
with
wow.
it.
You can get
Now,
very
what
technical
about
with them.
also energy efficiency, right? Because sometimes these window treatments.
Yeah, in an older home, sometimes you have your windows sucking out all that energy. We have some cellular shades that help you with thermal protection and really make it really difficult to have that heat energy go out or
So-
that cold come in.
So to
Good.
save this money, to get the thermal, to prevent the sun coming in, they would go to Peters Flooring and Paint. And tell everybody where Peters Flooring and Paint is.
Peters Flooring and Paint on 1217 Malvern Avenue. In the 1217 Cafe 1217 parking lot, Cafe Taco Mama, our favorite.
Taco Mama.
Yeah, right next door.
Right next door. We've also have a designer that's moved in right next door. Masonelli Construction has also come right in. So we actually have a design build. You can go into Peters and get your bath, your shower, countertop,
Your paint.
flooring, paint,
Yeah.
coatings.
Tile.
So
Yeah.
it
And-
really
and-
has become a one-stop shop. For
And you guys are
lot
a
of folks.
sponsor, but one reason that I loved you becoming a sponsor and the whole Peters group and the Clem family is because you are family when you go in there. It's not like, take a number, we're going to see you. It's like, hey, how can we help you? And the service is great, and the quality of
Thank you,
products
John.
is a step above. So you suppose that you might invest another 5 to 7% more or something, it's going to last 40% more.
Yeah.
And then if
Right.
you have a problem, what's that worth? Or a situation, how do I hook this together?
And the advice that we give,
Yep.
come in and talk to Mike. He helped us out. Funny story, John. We had some paint that she bought, and I was like, "How much did you spend on that gallon of paint?"
Before
Like,
he got hired there, when we first
right.
moved
And
to
I was
town,
like,
I
"You gotta be
painted my
kidding me."
kitchen cabinets.
And then to this day, I can put a wet glass on that cabinet.
I tell him not to.
Yeah.
And
Still
it doesn't come up and bubble and everything. I was like, good job, Mike. You told me the right stuff to use.
Exactly. And
So-
that, why reduce a mistake twice when you
I'd
get
rather
it right?
not do it twice. We do it one time the right way.
I've always wanted to do business with it. I think that speaks volumes about them, that I had this really great memory of the store from even just growing up here. And so when we moved here, he was working in Little Rock,
They've
and
been there
I went
100
to
years.
yeah,
Yeah.
and went into the store, and they helped me out just like
Poopa had an
I was
account there.
family.
Wow.
So,
Yeah, I put the paint on his account
Yeah.
actually.
right, so
Granddad's
Well-
account.
Well, what we're going to do is play a little video that explains
Awesome.
the Peters philosophy for a minute. And thanks for being here.
I appreciate
and
you,
we will
John. Thank
see
you
you
so
again,
much.
and I'll be back at the store on Friday morning.
talk
for
about your
those
deck
pancakes.
outside and everything?
Yeah, the deck. Yeah.
Oh.
And up next we
shaking
have.
I was going to
my
shake
hand?
his hand. I was going to hold your.
Up next
Kisses all around.
Up next we have Dennis Simpson with Hot Springs Village. Tell what's going on in Hot Springs Village coming up. In the meantime, here's a shot from Peters Flooring and Paint.
Have been in Hot Springs for generations. Others have just moved here. Either way, this town has a deep sense of family. In the friends we meet, the places we go, and the people we care about. These values are just as important to Peters Flooring and Paint. At Peters, relationship with customers comes first. This family-owned business has been here for over 100 years, and not only shows their committed efforts in customer service, but in their products they sell. From the well-crafted flooring to the high-tech paint and many more.
We love Hot Springs, we love people. You know, we're in a situation where our customers are our friends. I mean, where else do you get to go to work every day and your friends come to see you, happen to be your customers at the same time? That's pretty cool.
Peters Paint welcomes you to their family, and also their ability to make your house a home.
and we're back. We're back with Dennis Simpson from the Village Venues. And Dennis, it's so nice to have you here tonight.
It's great to be back. It really is. You know, there have been times in the past that I have worked with this crazy man before.
Yes.
And coming back with our sister program, we actually have a program a lot like this called Village Venues in Hot Springs
Okay.
Village. And it's really taken off. We couldn't be much happier with that at all.
Good, good. Tell us, so you keep up kind of like how we try to keep up with all the happenings in Hot Springs. You keep up with the happenings in the village.
And you know what? This has taught me an incredible appreciation for Mr. John, because
Right.
there is no way to keep up with all the great things happening in Hot Springs.
No.
And I thought Hot Springs Village, it won't be that big. There's a lot
There's a lot
happening.
going
There's
on.
a lot happening. We're about to have a brand new pool, groundbreaking. We actually had a pool that served for 40 years and worked great for a long
Yeah.
time. But it basically just fell into disrepair, so we're getting a brand new one. I mean,
You said it's a multi-million-dollar.
this is a big pool.
big deal.
It's a big pool. And this will be July the 16th. We have a new market coming in on the East End called TJ's that's coming in.
Okay.
And then we also have a new
Wait,
bakery.
like a new grocery store
Like
market?
a new grocery store
Ooh,
market.
that's going to be exciting.
They are going to have, she said, we're going to have non-dairy and non-gluten. And I was like, are you going to have anything? Because she kept
Right.
saying non. I'm like, well, you're going to have something or something, right?
Something.
And but it's a great little market that they're putting together. It's going to be really awesome. We're going to have
That's so
Explore
exciting.
Lakeside, where they're rebuilding the Lakeside Cafe, so have dinner on the lake.
Ooh.
And we're having finally, and the first time ever in Hot Springs Village, a bakery. We're going to have a bakery, fresh
Very
baked
good.
goods in the village. So
That's so exciting. I've always had fond memories of the village. My parents built a spec house there in the 90s, and we just always visited. But I can't wait to retire there.
yeah, it's gorgeous
There
and quiet.
on
We
the
love
lake,
it.
I don't know.
Yeah, we really do. We really do. We're struggling by. That's what we call it.
You're what? Struggling by.
struggling by,
Oh, yes,
struggling by.
absolutely.
So what's one event that's coming up that we need to know about?
Well, like I said, we're having the groundbreaking, which is a big deal. We had a lot of discussion because it's on the historic West End. We call it the historic end because it's
Right.
like 30 years old, 40
Right.
years old. Oh, and this next year in 2020, we will have our 50th anniversary for Hot Springs Village.
All right.
Oh, that's so
So a lot of
exciting.
people don't have any clue. I was actually sharing this with the committee this last week. We actually have little ashtrays they used to give away because 50 years ago,
Right.
everybody smoked.
Smoked, yeah.
Everybody needed an ashtray.
Right.
So what are they doing for the 50th?
Well, they're having it's going to be every
vape
month.
pen.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I don't have it for cigarettes, like a party.
No, they're going to have a different event every month.
Oh,
So
okay.
they're going to have 12 full events and the whole deal. So
fun.
it
Big
ought to be
birthday
really
bash.
And then
awesome.
how did they find out about your channel on social media?
If they will go to Facebook Village Venues, HS Village Venues, you'll
Okay.
see that. You know, John, some of the stuff
We shoot right here in this studio.
Exactly, we shoot in this very studio. But I see some of the stuff that you shoot, and I see thousands of hits. Some of our stuff has gotten 8,000 hits and so forth.
Well,
It's-
and you just started the show
just
about 4
started,
episodes
so yeah,
ago.
Yeah. So we're a sister program and love working
Yes.
with y'all. It wouldn't
Dennis-
happen without you.
Dennis
literally.
is a great
Thank
friend.
you.
That's
Thank
so
Well,
you.
thank you for joining us today, and please keep us updated on more things.
We'll be
on
back.
in
You
the
can't
village.
push us away. No.
Yeah, and you can check it out at Village Venues on Facebook.
That'd be great.
Dennis
Good.
Simpson. Now, when we come back, we are going to talk about a secret program that took place right near this area. But first, I want to talk to you about Maxwell Blade Theater of Magic. If you have people coming into town, bring them to Maxwell Blade show. He'll even cut you a deal if you say, hey, I'm a local and I got 3 friends coming in, and he'll cut you a deal for everybody because this show is world-class magic right here in Hot Springs.
World-
We have
Class,
posters and
family-friendly.
cards we give away at our Airbnb to encourage people to come because it's a
Yeah.
world-class show.
It really is, and he's been doing it for 20 years here. And we're going to show a little clip of Maxwell Blade in the show, one of our sponsors. When we come back, the secret CIA program.
That's a good smile.
Okay.
And we're back.
We're back.
Talking about a secret program, and Lydia's going to read off.
Just a quick paragraph. It
This is
says
from
in
the
the
internet.
1960s, the CIA attempted to spy on the Russians by surgically inserting recording devices into kitty cats, which were then released near Soviet embassies. The hope for this project, dubbed Acoustic Kitty, was that the cats would cuddle up near foreign intelligence agents in their outdoor space near the government buildings, thus picking up their conversations. But the project, which cost over $20 million, was a disaster. The first cat, released near the Soviet embassy in D.C., was struck by a car and killed on its first day on the job.
Well, I'm going to ask
Sorry,
people
that's
where.
horrible.
Yeah, as she says, laughing, right? So where do you
I laugh at
where do you think
funerals.
they train those cats? Right here in Hot Springs, Arkansas, with the
exciting.
training. Now, what's exciting about it, and we're working on a little mini documentary, and we're going to cover it more in Hello Hot Springs, is that the training program was not only here for the cats, but they were training crows and
Right.
birds, and they needed a cover. So when they came here, the way it goes is that the Brelands, a couple, was training under B.F. Skinner. They moved to this area because his wife, I think Marion Breland, had family here, and it was a great out-of-the-way place where nobody would bother you
Sure,
because
it was
it's Hot
a
Springs.
resort town.
Yeah,
and
real quiet. Well, people
Mm-hmm.
started asking questions, and they can only say, we're doing this for a film so long, so they opened up the IQ Zoo.
Right.
So the IQ Zoo was a nice cover for this kind of thing.
Could you imagine seeing like your neighbor out there like pegging things onto squirrels
Squirrels,
and like
so-
trying to train them?
Well, what they did is
questioning that.
we talked to Jimmy Clowers, who started working for the Brelands when he was really young, and eventually became the guy
Yeah.
to do the shows at the IQ Zoo. And him and two other people I've talked to who worked during that time verified that somebody would operate on the cats and put in this transmitter device, and they
Yeah.
would have a thing up here, not in the ear, but over near the skull of these cats, and they would send a signal out to them.
Yeah, it was
And
neat.
as a matter of fact, we're going to see a little clip from Jimmy Clowers talking about
Okay.
that.
It's up there just as a cover-up to cover up what was really going on the other end of town. He had a transceiver in him, and that transceiver was right up that wire that grew up top of his head. It was like a mic in there, where he could hear better. But cats hear lots better than we do anyway. That just made it that much better. He could hear that sound really, really good. We could send them back and forth like that. We got to where you could stretch him out and have him go a half a mile. The sound you give him was the same sound you give him to go. When you want him to come back, you give him that sound to have him to come back to you. And when he got back to you, of course, you give him a sound again, the fast sound, and give him another treat.
But the original idea was to send them a half hour away. You guys was just to train them to send them and stay.
Right.
But their thing was to send them out so when the cat was out there, they would do what for them?
They could listen to what anybody was saying around the cat. If they wanted to have a recorder, they could tape whatever the people were saying.
So the microphone was in their head.
Yes.
Unbelievable. And did you ever see anybody doing the listening part, or were you just part of the beat part?
No, I never got to see any of that. That was all classified and kept not to us.
Wow.
Is that crazy or what? Yeah. And so the neat thing about that whole program is it evolved into the IQ Zoo. It's hard to say exactly when, but they were training these animals in 1964 over off Ridgeway. And you saw that shot, that was over on Ridgeway or off
Yeah.
Ridgeway, which is right pretty much in the
Yeah,
center
just
of
off
town.
of Malvern.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so when the IQ Zoo started with Animal Behavior Enterprises right about the same time to act as a cover for the CIA, but also a tourist thing, it
Right.
worked out both. Walt Disney came to town to see what they were doing because he was going to open up this theme park, you know,
Wow.
1964. He had been to the World's Fair.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to do a World's Fair thing as an amusement park, which ended up being Disneyland. And he came out on Ridgeway to visit. And here's a clip of me on Ridgeway standing at the building where Disney was.
It all started here in Hot Springs.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at that clip. We're here off Ridgeway Street in Hot Springs, Arkansas, at the actual building where some of the animals were trained for ABE Enterprises and for the IQ Zoo. Now, Walt Disney was interested in animal training shows, which eventually he had at his parks like Disneyland first and then Disney World. And he wanted to find out more about how to train. So Walt Disney himself came here to Hot Springs, Arkansas, and went to this very building. And there are pictures taken with Keller Breland, who was teaching Walt Disney all about animal training. And it happened right here, Walt Disney visiting Hot Springs, Arkansas, off Ridgeway Street, and ABE Enterprises right here in Hot Springs, Arkansas. So Jimmy Clower's son, Jim Jr., and the other son, John, got in touch with me about that. And then there's another, John Clowers, it's another relative that also worked there. And there's all these footage, there's a bunch of footage. There was over 50 or 60 people working on Ridgeway. We have over an hour and a half worth of interviews with Jimmy Sr. talking about everything that went on at Ridgeway and the,
This is amazing that you can find all this stuff out, John. Like, I knew about the IQ Zoo. You see old, things, and I thought, oh, that's like some sweet old people, teaching their little squirrel how to
and it was
jump through hoops.
It was, but there were two things. No, there were two things going on at the same time. And then after a while, when Operation Acoustic Kitty failed, they kept going with the IQ Zoo, and Jimmy Clowers was instrumental at turning it on more of a scientific thing, because the Brelands were into the operant conditioning, which is what these things are into a more of a humorous thing, which all the animal shows are around today. So all
Did you ever get to see it before it closed down?
I did. I saw the show. It was really neat because they had rabbits and everything and chickens doing all. And Oaklawn has a Beat the Chicken game where they use the same operant conditioning training to play tic-tac-toe against...
Race against the chicken, not beat the chicken.
Oh, I'm
sure? So confused right now.
Yeah,
well,
win the
Acoustic Kitty.
Yeah,
I put nothing past them.
So they were, one other thing, and we're on future shows, and when we do the documentary on it, they were training like crows to fly. They would use a laser. In the 60s, a laser was real expensive, so they'd laser a building. The crow would fly to the building, lean against the window, and he had a camera on his chest, take a picture.
No way.
And it gets really weirder because they think, and we're connecting together, that around the Watergate time, they wanted to use that same training to go up to windows. That's a whole nother day. We've run out of time.
If you have window treatments from Peters, though, then
you don't have to worry.
You don't have to worry. Shameless plug. We're done.
Yeah, I was wondering how we're going to do that tie-in.
You don't even pay me.
Yeah. So anyway, we hope to talk more about that in the future, because it's one of those hidden things that we talked about. If you want to find out about another hidden thing that people don't find out about, is the Mountain View Railroad, the ghost train. And that's, just look up Ghost Train on our YouTube channel or Facebook.
You've got tons of all of these.
Just weird stuff that happened
Every time I mention something that I think I know about in Hot Springs, you're like, oh yeah, I did a video on that. And I'm like, that's probably how I know about it. I saw the video 10 years ago.
Well,
hey, next week though, I have been promised there will be food.
Oh yeah, food.
If you have your favorite restaurant that you want us to order takeout from, and eat. Leave it in the comments below.
Let me say it better. If you're making it homemade and you want to bring by food from your restaurant and get a free plug, we got 5 or 6 people here who will not only eat it, we'll be like, yeah, this is great.
Wait, their food from home or their food from their
their restaurant. No, in other words, if they own a restaurant and they want a little publicity,
bring it by.
All they got to do is bring it by. I know, Marcy in the Raw was on here. We had Will Cinnamon
she's doing a fun half-price thing right now. I just heard on the radio on our way here.
I think it's
you buy a $25 gift card, but it's good for $50.
Oh yeah, that's good.
For their yummy and their raw vegan stuff.
I think it's half off Hot Springs, which is
half off Hot Springs. That's it.
Check that out. I think they do it on Fridays, but I'd be happy to promote half off Hot Springs and Marcy. Let's promote the whole town.
It's fun,
and let's eat a lot. I don't know about you.
Well, what did we have? Some kind of corn dog from the gas station before we went on tonight. I'm like, no.
Well, that was your husband bringing it by.
Well, it was something. There were snacks.
So if you have a restaurant in town, just give us a call at 50 or television@gmail.com and say, I'd like to bring by food so I can get some free publicity.
Yeah.
The only thing we want to avoid is like chain food. Like, I don't want McDonald's to bring by their burgers. No offense to McDonald's.
If they're willing, and I don't know.
Yeah.
David's Burgers.
No, David's Burgers is not here yet, but there's a Freddy's Burgers.
Okay, I was about to say, so everybody thought David's was going by where that car wash was in front of
That
Walmart.
rumor started.
Well,
I thought that too.
but I think that's where Freddy's is going. No,
That's correct.
And Freddy's, I have eaten it, and I really thought that it reminded me of In-N-Out Burger because we're California people, and we miss that a lot.
When
just a
Freddy's
fresh-
and David's open, first of all, everybody should just move here, right, from out of
Yes.
state. But when they open, we're going to do a challenge of the burgers blind taste test. with
Ooh,
Freddy's.
okay.
And maybe DeLuca's will get in on it because he's got a burger too, you know. DeLuca's pizza place
I
for lunch.
think that his burger's on a different level, but I'll blind taste
Yeah,
test
hey,
that anytime.
for all of it.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for joining us today on Hello Hot Springs. Make sure you like and subscribe on Facebook and YouTube. And Lydia and I are going to go out and do some crazy live things when we feel like it and everything
Call me up.
goes good.
It's
and
fun.
we'll get out there. If you have anything that you'd like to see or whatever, email us at our Facebook page or at television@gmail.com. My name's John Cooksey,
Lydia Fidelity.
and we will see you on the next show.
You are watching the Hot Springs Broadcast Network.